Hello everyone, welcome to Security Observability Day. We are very excited to have you today. We have a very packed agenda. We'll start with an introduction by Emilio about how risk management is a team sport. We'll follow with a product demo. We have a customer Q&A with Poshmark. And finally, we'll share some glimpse about our roadmap before going into Q&A. Now, I'd like to welcome on stage Emilio.
Thanks, Arnaud. Hi, everyone. I'm Emilio Escobar, Datadog CISO. I'll be quickly going over how Datadog's internal security is structured to manage cloud security risks while reducing friction and silos, as well as how our observability research are focused on providing you with the right signals in our products so you can do the same. With today's technology, there's no security issue that can be solved by a single team. It always has to be a team sport or a collaborative effort. Dev, Ops, and Security are the three main teams that need to provide some input into resolving any security issue. Whether a vulnerability in your application, cloud infrastructure, or an active attack against your environment, at Datadog we work hard at reducing these silos that are naturally formed when a problem is divided into different pieces. We know that trust in our service and software is paramount. That's why at Datadog, security is everyone's responsibility. Our developers are not only responsible for building products, but they're also responsible for owning the infrastructure that supports them, as well as the security of their services. This means that they have the highest level of context on how the applications work, as well as how the main infrastructure components that make up their services as well. But the security team enables them with the right security context for their services. As depicted here, we embed security into different levels depending on the amount of context and continuity needed. We scale our program with our security ambassadors, also known as our champions. We embed security engineers into particular products or features that require continuous hands-on level of attention or introduce unique security concerns. Teams who are building core platform components have their own dedicated security engineers, even some of these engineers reporting to those engineering teams and not to the central security organization. If we can divide security into three pillars, we focus on these. Secure defaults by building things from the ground up with security considerations in mind, or tooling that provide golden paths so our developers can do their job safely. We've decentralized security to maximize collaboration and reduce friction. And we respond to security events with the deep context that comes from this decentralization. To give you some insights on how this looks in practice, let's go over a response of a vulnerability that received quite a bit of attention last year. Last October, there was a vulnerability in the OpenSSL project that was rated as high, but the vulnerability was triggered when specially crafted HTTPS certificates were being used. We immediately spun up an internal investigation where we combined the expertise of our security team with the expertise of our engineers from areas where we thought we were validating HTTPS certificates that were most likely exposed to this vulnerability. The result of what was, instead of immediately filing tickets to all the dev teams to patch, we got a better understanding of how and where we had a potential of being exposed to the vulnerability, but with the context provided by our security team and our research, we quickly learned that the chances were pretty minimal and the impact wasn't something that we deem as critical. Later on, the vulnerability was downgraded to a medium, so our initial judgment built by this collaboration was correct. Now that we've given you a glimpse of how Datadog Security works, let's talk about how we help you build the same team sport for you. Our dedicated group of security researchers are constantly adding new signals, rules, and producing research content that can be used as conversation starters and build internal collaboration between your dev, ops, and security teams. When a new vulnerability or threat vector is disclosed, our team immediately begins to dissect it and build any out-of-the-box signals that can help you detect any attacks against your environment. Using the context that Datadog provides you, security teams can quickly identify the service or system owners. Teams can deeply assess the risk of the vulnerability and identify the impact of any successful attack. Subsequently, teams can track the remediation of vulnerability based on your risk tolerance contextualized by our service catalog. But that is not all. Our team also gathers threat intelligence and tracks threat actors targeting cloud environments to further build any detection rules that can be useful out of the box. We also want to build and enable a community by producing content that can be a source of education and context, as well as maintaining a few open source tools that can further assist you in testing your detection and response capabilities, but also protect your software supply chain. Our most recent addition is Datadog's Cloud Security Atlas, a unique register of risks that applies specifically to cloud environments. It includes tailored content that is accessible to everyone and provides simple explanations to help you triage and manage your cloud security risks. Cloud Security Atlas is part of our security labs, which was launched last year and is our single source for all research articles, deep dives of emerging threats, open source tooling announcements, and more. Our three main open source tools are Stratus Red Team to help you test your detection and response capabilities, GuardDog to help you identify malicious NPM or Python packages, and Threat Test that helps you monitor the health of your detection engineering pipelines. We believe Security Labs can be a great resource for you, so please make sure to follow it and subscribe to it. Now let's have Amber to give you a walkthrough of how you can observe, uncover, and secure using Datadog.
Thank you, Emilio. Hi, my name is Amber Bennoui, and I'm a product manager for security here at Datadog. Today, I'm excited to showcase how our security innovations promote teamwork through a live demo. Afterwards, our product team will give you a closer look at the roadmap. As a reminder, we have a live chat where you can ask questions if you're curious about anything I present. Now, let's dive in. Envision a world where rapidly changing infrastructure and applications no longer pose a challenge for security. Traditional security products have struggled to achieve this, burdening organizations to configure new cloud integrations, agents, or libraries. This leaves security teams with a fragmented view of their cloud attack surface, which makes it extremely difficult to effectively protect their organizations. Now, envision a solution that empowers you to harness your existing observability deployments for deep and effective security. With Datadog, in just a single click, your current integrations, libraries, and agents are leveraged to provide you with comprehensive security, giving you a complete picture of your cloud stack. There is no need for additional components or tedious configuration, and I'm excited to give you a closer look. Enter the resource catalog, which continuously scans all resources in your cloud environment by leveraging your existing agentless cloud integrations. Our innovative resource catalog provides you with a constantly updated inventory of compute resources, databases, storage buckets, and more. Built on top of our unified tagging system, the resource catalog enables you to easily search, filter, and gain insight into the posture of your resources, empowering DevOps teams to proactively improve security. Let's explore an example. Searching for all resources owned by Team Platform. Each resource's configuration is continuously assessed against industry best practices and compliance standards. Configurations are color-coded, with green indicating no misconfiguration and shades of yellow and red indicating varying degrees of misconfiguration. Now, while examining this EC2 instance, I noticed that this EC2 instance uses IMDS v2. Recommendation has failed. This poses a notable risk, as earlier IMDS versions use unsecured GET requests and responses without authentication, potentially allowing an attacker access to sensitive information stored within the metadata service. While a resource catalog helps you understand your risk surface area, it's important to note that attacks can still target other aspects of your organization's infrastructure. Therefore, it's crucial to have a thorough inventory of all cloud resources to ensure maximum visibility and to minimize security risk. The Cloud Security Management homepage consolidates everything seamlessly, offering a unified perspective for monitoring your organization's overall security stance, continuously evaluating all of your cloud assets for misconfigurations and posture, It delivers prompt and actionable insights. Cloud security management comes with 400 plus out-of-the-box rules mapped to multiple compliance frameworks, including PCI, SOC 2, and our very own Datadog Essential Cloud Security Controls. These rules and controls are carefully curated and updated by Datadog's security research team, responsible for numerous recent industry discoveries. Within minutes, you can gauge your organization's standing in relation to established industry best practices. Now that we have a clear inventory of our cloud resources, it's time to assess our application exposure. Data breaches are frequently caused by exposed web applications. Vulnerabilities in third-party software are one of the top 3 attack vectors, according to IBM's most recent data breach report. Our service catalog is a central hub for all of your service-related knowledge. Security context is provided utilizing the same libraries already implemented in your services for APM. Combining context from ownership, reliability, and performance, you can gain visibility into ownership and monitor all aspects of your services in a unified view dedicated to security. Let's look at an example in the service product recommendation. The open source framework Spring has been found to have a vulnerability that can allow for remote code execution. Exploitation of this vulnerability through Spring4Shell can render connected applications vulnerable to remote code injections, a type of attack where malicious code is injected into a compromised machine from a remote location by bad actors. Since Datadog now provides the ability to detect open source vulnerabilities in your applications, it's crucial to identify any other services utilizing the Spring framework. To do this, simply perform a search and browse through the results. Bridging the gap between security and engineering teams is essential for effective collaboration, as these groups often have different perspectives and priorities. Engineers may not always have a complete understanding of the security implications at hand, while security-related issues may need to be remediated outside of their tool sets. This creates unintended friction between teams that should work hand in hand. As Emilio said, cloud security is a team sport. Datadog can now automatically detect vulnerabilities in open source libraries that are in use by monitored applications, along with providing next steps that help remediate. Your teams can now quickly understand what needs to be done to fix a vulnerability and which team is owning the fix. But wait, what about the workload the service runs on? Well, because of Datadog's deep knowledge of applications and infrastructure, you can easily understand the scope of the vulnerability. While we took care of the vulnerabilities at the library level, attacks could target your infrastructure as well. Since this application runs in a container-based environment, let's take a look at the container images these containers are created from. Expanding its scope beyond applications, Datadog also identifies vulnerabilities within containers. Here, we can see that vulnerabilities were also detected in all scanned container images. Let's see if there are any vulnerabilities reported for the containers running the product recommendation service. And it looks like there are. Here, you can see affected components, impacted image versions, as well as any available advisories. With this level of information, you can empower your engineering teams to build, run, and proactively secure services from the same product they use daily for observability. It could take a couple of hours or days before the remediation is deployed to production. In the meantime, we're still exposed to this vulnerability. Let's see how Datadog can help you mitigate it. In elaborate cloud attacks, multiple parts of the stack are exploited to get initial access to a cloud environment and persist with the ultimate goal of data exfiltration. Having silos between security tools makes it difficult for teams to identify and respond quickly to cloud threats that matter. On the other hand, DevOps cannot tell whether spikes in Datadog errors are due to attack activity. Here, we've received a Slack alert about an SSRF attack by an authenticated user. Let's check this out. Since the majority of attack surface is exposed by web apps requires authentication, unauthenticated attacks are unlikely to cause harm. Here's an example of an attack by an authorized user. Their application attack surface is larger. Datadog gives you the visibility into this attack vector, in which you can see that an authenticated user has targeted the service using several different IPs. Datadog now enables you to respond and slow down attackers by blocking them. Any requests coming from this specific authenticated user will now be blocked natively from the library. Datadog can go beyond blocking attackers. Let's go back to our service vulnerable to SSRF. Datadog now blocks attack attempts in real time through our in-app WAF. In the previous example, we saw how security teams can respond in real time to attackers targeting your applications. While this is a great capability, it's still considered to be reactive. Now let's see how we can make this scalable with a proactive approach. We'll block all future SSRF attacks by enabling blocking mode. All right, you're now automatically blocking any SSRF attack targeting your applications. Any new request that matches these rules will now automatically be blocked by the libraries and reported to Datadog. Getting visibility on initial access attempts through web applications and APIs establishes an initial line of defense, and Cloud Security Management's holistic monitoring brings you closer to a robust solution. However, it's also important to be able to investigate and respond quickly should an attacker gain access to cloud accounts. With Cloud SIEM, you can analyze operational and security logs in real time across major cloud providers and hundreds of integrations, giving you an edge on investigations. It seems like Datadog detected yet another attack in AWS. This time, it appears that an S3 bucket was enumerated by an EC2 instance. Let's review this entity in the Investigator to visualize all of its activity. Examining verbose cloud audit logs is exhausting. Investigator simplifies this process by providing interactive visualizations, speeding the process up. This IAM user assumed role a number of times and accessed S3 services with 4 failed events. In 2 clicks, you can see the underlying logs. You've determined this was suspicious. Let's respond. Datadog now offers specialized workflows for every signal, allowing for efficient threat management. With just 1 click, it's possible to disable a suspicious IAM user by revoking all of their authentication credentials. These workflows can be extensively customized, simplifying the remediation process through automation of end-to-end procedures and taking action in response to security threats. Datadog helps organizations make security a team sport between security and engineering teams. We just walked you through how new Datadog security capabilities can now help you get closer to this North Star. Datadog makes it easy by making the secure way the easy way. With the same integrations, agents, and libraries already deployed, teams can easily observe all of their cloud assets, whether it's storage buckets, identities, or web applications and APIs. You can secure what you already observe. Uncovering and addressing the riskiest vulnerabilities in production that have the potential to be exploited while making it front and center for engineering teams and the tools they're already using regularly for reliability and performance. You build it, you run it, and now you can also secure it. And last but not least, proactively helping teams respond to threats with built-in protection and response workflows natively embedded within the products. Our security products sit on top of the 3 pillars of observability. They can be enabled in a modular way, depending on what layer of the stack you need visibility on. Effective cloud security starts with collaboration. With security and observability built on the same platform, teams can work together, use the shared context to triage, and resolve security issues faster. Next up, we're going to share a customer success story. We had a conversation with Poshmark about how they use Datadog's Cloud SIEM in their organization to streamline security.
Hi, everyone. I'm Arjun Katragadda. I'm a product manager here at Datadog. And today I'm super excited to have with us Punna from Poshmark. and he'll be talking with us today about his experience using our Cloud SIEM product. So yeah, let's dive straight into it. Kapil, thank you again for taking the time to do this. I've used Poshmark before personally, so I'm familiar with the app. Could you say maybe a couple of sentences about what Poshmark is for people who may not be familiar?
Yeah. Hey, my name is Kapil. I work for security in Poshmark. Again, for those of you who don't know what Poshmark is, we are an e-commerce platform who specialize in social marketplace. If you're looking for any clothing items, any electronic items, and also want to interact with our community, then our website is the right place to do.
Awesome. That's really great. And tell us a little bit more about your role at Poshmark, like your team. Are they kind of located with you, and what is the scope of that team?
Yeah, so my role is managing the security operations team at Poshmark. We have a team both in USA and India, providing that 365 into 24/7 coverage for security incidents and anything, any bad actors coming into our network and knocking on our door. We usually take care of those things.
And in terms of your search for a SIM tool that would fit in and work for your team, how did that evaluation process go? Like, what was your criteria? Like, who did you evaluate, and how did you come to a conclusion with that process?
Yeah, when it comes to evaluation of different vendors, right? We follow like a vendor selection process based on core requirements, and some of the core requirements for this SIM solution were visibility into the AWS and also our corporate infrastructure. Once we have narrowed down a few vendors based on our core requirements, we do a POC with these vendors and again compare them against the success criteria that we have written. So some of the success criteria that we included were ease of integration with different log sources, having a common log schema, and also having out-of-the-box detections, and also supporting third-party threat intel feeds. And we also wanted to have a SIM that had good search capabilities and then also was faster.
And how did you arrive at picking Datadog SIEM? So we're obviously very happy that you did, but how did you make the conclusion there? Did you do a trial, or like how did you reach that conclusion there?
Yeah, so before we jumped into our search for this SIM solution, right, we were using Datadog for other products like observability and metrics. And we were very impressed with what they offered on this space, mainly the observability and metrics side. When we were really looking for a SIM solution, at that point, I think Datadog SIM solution was like a year old, and we initially did demos, and then also had like a product roadmap as well with Datadog, and we decided to do a POC going by those demos and going by what we saw in those demos and also in the product roadmap. Once we did the POC, we loved how easy it was to integrate with AWS and other SaaS products that we had, and we also loved their common log schema and how easy was it to define the common log schema if we wanted to go our own path. And one last thing that impressed us was that their roadmap and whatever things that they promised in the roadmap, they delivered it in the next few quarters.
In terms of the onboarding process itself, in terms of using the Cloud SIEM product, you were already on Datadog, but in terms of actually enabling Cloud SIEM within it, what was that onboarding process like, and how long did it feel like it took for you to make sure that the SIEM was like fully operational and get your team comfortable with it?
Yeah, so the onboarding process with Datadog was a breeze, as we were already using other products of Datadog. And for the Cloud SIEM solution, we were up and running in like a few days' time. And when it came to the actual ingestion of logs, we were able to ingest all of our initial set of data sources in a matter of weeks, I would say. So it was pretty easy. And I think that was one of the biggest factors that helped us select Datadog as well.
Awesome. So Kapil, how does your team actually use the Cloud SIEM on a day-to-day basis? Like what features do you use? How do you interact with the product on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so on a day-to-day basis, we use Cloud SIEMs for monitoring incidents of various levels, and we have created dashboards for incidents as well. And we use like a primary dashboard, which again drills down into secondary dashboards. Um, that's our setup for security operations. And once we have identified a incident that we do research into, we again go through those dashboards and then finally arrive at the log section of it. So that's the workflow that we follow.
That's great. Yeah, we see our customers using usually multiple products within the platform. So that's great to hear as well. To the extent that you're able to share, have you had any recent incidents at Poshmark from a security perspective? How did you use Cloud SIEM, if at all, during that process?
Yeah, so one of the metrics that we use is calculating the number of failed logins on our platform to identify account takeover attacks. And when we were developing this metric, we used Datadog's anomaly monitors. They had like 3 or 4 anomaly monitors, like Datadog had 3 or 4. And we did a trial and error on each of these anomaly metrics. And we zeroed down on one of them, which was giving us like a 0% false positive rate. And whenever this alert gets triggered, we utilize Datadog SIM log tools to investigate into those ATO alerts. Again, that's the workflow that we have done. We have not only utilized Cloud SIEM, but we have also utilized Datadog metric monitors to respond to these account takeover attacks. And these account takeover attacks cause a lot of financial impact to our business. And by using Datadog, we were able to reduce the number of ATOs and save millions of dollars for our company.
Well, thank you again, Kapil, for joining. We're really glad to have you as a customer, and we'll keep talking with you in our monthly check-ins. But we're really grateful that you took the time to do this today.
Thank you, guys.
A big thank you again to Kapil and the Poshmark team for sharing their experience with us. Now my colleagues and I will go a little deeper on some of the new features Amber highlighted in her demo, and we'll also share what's on our upcoming roadmap. For Cloud SIEM, a couple of the new features we highlighted included Investigator and Workflows. With Investigator, we provide a visual representation of your logs so you can speed up your team's path to triaging and responding to alerts. So instead of spending a whole lot of time trying to figure out the origin of a certain activity within your cloud environment, which as you know can be challenging, it could involve you manually pouring through hundreds of logs. Instead of that, you can utilize Investigator, which allows you to bring in your cloud audit logs, get graph-based visual insights, you can map out the journey that a suspicious actor might have taken, and then you can kickstart your investigation from there. Investigator is now generally available for both AWS and GCP environments, and will be coming out with support for Azure later this year as well. With Workflows, we provide the ability to automate common tasks so your security team can refocus their valuable time and resources on the most critical issues that matter. We offer a number of security-specific blueprints that come straight out of the box, so you can get started with those right away. You can also create your own custom workflows by leveraging an extensive list of over 500 actions that tie in tools both inside and outside of Datadog. As an example, with the workflow shown here, you can set it to go off any time a chosen detection rule is triggered, like maybe when there's an impossible travel scenario. From there, the workflow will automatically create a case within Datadog, collect information about the specific user's activity, and populate it for you within a notebook in the case. Then it can send you a Slack message with a link to this case that already has all of the relevant information pre-populated, so you and your team can get a head start on your investigation. This was just a very simple example here. You can also build on actions that tie in other popular vendors, including PagerDuty and Okta, from within your Datadog workflow. The integration between Workflows and Cloud SIEM is now available, so you can try that out right away. In terms of our upcoming roadmap for Cloud SIEM, we've highlighted a few items here. We touched on the automation and collaboration piece already through the use of our Workflows and case management products. We'll also be building on Investigator to offer entity-centric insights later this year. This will allow you to correlate different security events together and identify suspicious behavior without you needing to create additional detections on your own. In addition, we will be expanding our query capabilities so you can detect issues across what you may already be observing within Datadog. So not just log-based detections, but we'll also be tying in metrics and traces. You'll also be able to create more advanced custom detection rules if you need them through the additional operators such as joins, which we will offer later this year. Beyond what we just covered here, our security research and detection engineering teams are continuously updating and adding to the list of rules, playbooks, and dashboards that we offer out of the box. So in terms of expanding our content coverage even further and making the SIEM even easier to use and implement from day one, that is something that you will notice throughout the year as well. That's all from me. Over to you, Daniel, to walk through our application security takeaways.
Thank you, Arjun. My name is Daniel, and I am one of the product managers building application security management. As we showed you in the demo, ASM is about securing the applications you already observe. Securing means finding and fixing security vulnerabilities in your applications and APIs, including known problems in OSS libraries and in the custom code your teams write, and protect your applications from attacks, both automated and targeted. Let me tell you more about all this. Let's start with open source vulnerabilities. What does managed vulnerabilities mean? Well, modern applications rely heavily on open source packages to accelerate development, but these normally come with known security vulnerabilities that attackers can exploit. Datadog helps you leverage open source with confidence by finding, prioritizing, and remediating vulnerabilities much faster due to our real-time production point of view with full context visibility. Here you can see an example. Here you can see an example of how we reduce the severity of an open source vulnerability because it's not in a production environment and it's not receiving suspicious traffic. This reduces alert fatigue. I'm happy to announce that open source vulnerability management will be available tomorrow for all APM customers. Moving on to custom code, ASM will also help you find the problems in the code you write and foster collaboration by providing actionable insights to fix the problems effectively. You see, our real-time production view finds issues with fewer false positives and also down to the down number, so that triage and remediation does not slow down your release cycles. All this without scanning your source code or installing additional tools. We're excited to share that custom code vulnerability detection will be available soon as public beta. Now, it's inevitable that you have attacks. Some of them are automated and some of them are highly targeted. In any case, Datadog helps you defend your applications from OWASP top 10 attacks and beyond. We do this by leveraging our distributed tracing technology that allows deep visibility into suspicious traffic, no matter how complex it is, and allows you to take defensive actions such as blocking attacks and attackers. So let me finish with a few themes that summarize what are we working on. First of all, automated protection will help you block attackers and attacks with confidence. At the same time, we are also working on expanding the coverage and ecosystem support so that more aspects of your applications are covered. This includes serverless deployments and custom code risk management. And that's all from ASM. Let me give the floor to Rajat.
Thank you, Daniel. Hey everyone, my name is Rajat Luthra and I'm a product manager in Datadog's Cloud Security team. Datadog's Cloud Security Management addresses your cloud security needs, leveraging the power of Datadog's observability, depth of security research, and a unified platform for DevOps and security teams. As you saw, Cloud Security Management now provides to you, at no extra cost, full visibility into all your cloud resources, along with the relationships and risks in both list and map format. Resource Catalog scans your entire cloud infrastructure every 15 minutes, giving you the latest view of your cloud resources. You also saw Posture Management. It continuously audits for misconfigurations and helps you adopt best cloud policies and stay compliant. You can now see customizable posture management dashboards that allow you to combine insights from the Datadog platform and all its integrations. You can edit these dashboards to make them work for your business. Additionally, you can set up custom detection rules for your AWS, Azure, and GCP resources. You can clone an existing rule and customize it for your unique needs, or easily write a new one. These rules enforce your policies on an ongoing basis with a one-time effort. These rules are in addition to the existing 300 plus rules available to you today on the platform. In addition to posture management, you also have workload security. Workload security leverages an existing Datadog agent to detect threats in real time by monitoring your files, processes, and networks. Workload security profiles now help you detect anomalous activity by learning your workload's regular behavior. And here's an example of workload detection, including connections to known crypto mining domain, 2miners.com. With workload security profiles, you can identify anomalous activities in your workloads and suppress benign workload behaviors. And finally, you can now get insights into infrastructure vulnerabilities, starting with those on container images. With the introduction of these capabilities, cloud security management now helps you with, number one, resources, with Resource Catalog providing a complete inventory for all your cloud assets, their relationships, and their risks. Number two, misconfigurations, with posture management helping you proactively improve your security posture and meet compliance standards. Number three, threats, with workload security detecting threats across your files, processes, and networks, all in real time. And finally, number four, vulnerabilities, with vulnerability management addressing vulnerabilities in your containers and hosts. So far, we talked about some of the new capabilities in cloud security management. So where does this all get us? Cloud security management provides to you a single action-oriented interface that addresses your proactive and multi-cloud security needs, building on deep observability context. It enables your dev, ops, and security teams to collaborate as one on a platform they're all familiar with. And it requires no new agents, adds no instrumentation friction, and no additional cost to move data around. Since 2021, we've been strengthening the Datadog's platform to address multi-cloud security needs of yours. Here's the roadmap we're working towards. First, we start with focus on prioritization. As part of that, you will be able to detect anomalies based on normal usage and get recommendations on the most valuable remediations in your org. In parallel to that comes customizability. So you can create detections based on your unique needs, customize out-of-the-box dashboards, and use Findings API for your integrations. Then we focus on expanded coverage. This includes securing your Kubernetes, lighting up cloud infrastructure entitlement management capabilities, and infrastructure vulnerability management. And finally, we understand customers eventually need help with remediation. We then enable customers to use Datadog's case management and workflows for easier remediation. You can try out the new experience by going to dtdg.co/cloudsecmanagement. Thank you. Back to you, Arno.
Well, it was a lot of announcement today, so thanks for joining us. As you've seen, a lot of product going GA with some new features, some new beta joining the mix.